Wow, it's been a long time since I last made a video, so I definitely lost count on how many topics have I done. But nonetheless, I'm going to make a very special topic which I just managed to come up of, which is why I'm making a video anyway. It's called Predecessor's Complaints. Are they bitter or are they actually true? Now, this topic itself sounds very difficult, so let me explain this topic as an introduction. Now, predecessors pretty much means like your past members, like in a football club, your ex-players, in an organization, your ex-members, your ex-colleagues. As long as these people are part of this team's past, they are called predecessors. Bitter means whether these people, they are just jealous of the current generation, or they just simply cannot let go of their legacy, or are they actually true? So that pretty much explains the title itself. Now, why am I making this title? Because I feel like, especially I see on the internet, especially when you talk about especially in sports, when ex-players complain about the current players, fans are divided, completely divided on whether these past players actually mean correctly, or do they actually are just jealous of the current generation. So let me give my own analysis on whether it is okay for predecessors to make complaints. Now, first of all, ask yourself a question. Does the current member, does the current squad, does the current batch actually perform well? Well, I'm a Manchester United fan, just so you know, so I'm going to use Man United as pretty much the example in explaining this. Now, if you follow football, you will actually know Paul Scholes, Gary Neville, these two are very popular for making complaints against the current coach, Jose Mourinho. Even Louis van Gaal and David Moyes have got the harsh beatings, and the current squad. So is it okay or is it not? Now let's look at it from a few perspectives. Now, going back to the first question on whether the current squad is doing a good job. Obviously, they are very inconsistent. They severely lack the consistency, especially in today's game. They can be in top form in one game, but in the next game they can be playing even worse than the player playing in the 5th division, which is why you can see these past players complaining. Now, what do these past players have in common? Like in Manchester United's context, you look at Gary Neville, Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs, David Beckham, Nicky Butt, even Wayne Rooney counted as during his younger days. Now, these players, along with Sir Alex Ferguson, they have created a legacy for Manchester United. Now, the club used to be pretty much like the current team, inconsistent, going up and down, losing unnecessarily to other teams. And when these players develop into top players, they create a legacy where they keep on winning trophies, Premier League, Champions League, all these trophies keep on coming in. So, are they in the right to do that? Well, in this context, pay attention to context, they are actually right. They are in the right to complain. Now, what makes the predecessors right to complain? When the current squad is unable to emulate the achievements made by the past generation. Yes, they are going to be frustrated. Now, put yourself in their shoes. If you are if you're part of the group that has made this team a fantastic phenomenon, and suddenly your next generation can do nothing and your team keeps on going down, of course you feel bad. It used to be your team and your ex-team is now in shambles. You're definitely going to feel upset. Because if you have feelings and if you really love the team, you will feel bad that your next generation cannot maintain the standards that you achieved during that time. Now, let me go to another way. Is it logic and is it overdoing? Now, in United's case, it's a yes or no kind of situation. It is true Paul Scholes can have a very nasty mouth, because especially when you have a legacy destroyed by another manager, one thing that many of these legends fail to do is to give new people time to actually try to change the team's fate. They often make judgments which are way too quick. In the end, you're just judging a book by its cover because people have just got started. Because don't forget, people need time to adapt or to make their plans work, because nothing comes instantly. And often so, things that come instantly will disappear and will end up in a very, very harsh ending. So, of course, if you make judgments which are way too quick, man, you're in the wrong. But let's look very carefully on what the current United situation is. Now, Jose Mourinho is a top-class manager, and he has a squad full of cash buys. You're talking about 100 million in euros or pounds, I forgot. 100 million worth in Paul Pogba. He has signed players with big money. He's unable to change the team's fate. And given that he's already in his second season, there should be improvements, which is obviously not going anywhere. That he lost in the cup. He's making unnecessary draws to Burnley. So obviously, the team is not making good progress. Now, is it the manager's fault? In sense of his personality, yes, because his team is not in a good condition, and yet he is being childish, talking about other managers, bashing ex-players. Well, if United is in first place, he has all the right to say. But now that Manchester United is in the 6th place, of course people are going to make noise. Because Paul Scholes, I'm not sure about their generation because I didn't really do much research before this. But as long as I'm concerned, the rate of the trophies coming into United aren't as pleasant. Okay, Mourinho does win trophies, but come on, what trophies is he winning? FA Cup, these are pretty easy cups. But then when you look at the golden generation, they are winning the league and the Champions League, high profile trophies. So you must judge based on context. The team is not doing well, take it as it is. The ex-players are giving you guys a warning. You guys are not doing well. Okay, if you guys are doing well, fine, because it proves that your method is working. The problem is when you are not doing well, it's time to get some advice, especially those who have been in the golden generation, in the peak era of your team. Now, it's not just in sports, in any organizations. Even in university, you can hear your seniors complain about the juniors not doing well. Obviously, it can be two things. Number one, seniors, give your juniors time because your juniors are still young. They still lack the maturity to adapt into university life. However, it is also wrong on the juniors because often so, when you come to university, you need to start growing up, stop expecting people to spoon-feed you, and learn to do things by yourself, learn to seek advice from the lecturers, learn to be proactive in doing the things that you're doing. So it really varies on how you're actually managing yourself in making predecessors complaining the right one or just bitter. Now these are just my personal opinions. You may agree or you may disagree because if you're not a sports follower, you may not be able to relate with the example, especially if I'm using Manchester United. And if you have any opinions, please comment down below. I will take it as a man because, like I say, not everybody watches sports. But if you agree, thanks very much. I'm not expecting a like, I don't expect you to subscribe, but I just hope that my points are okay with you. 8.5 minutes, thank you for your attention, and I'll see you in my next video.